All right, fellas. Whoa, yes. Yeah, there he is right there. All right, guys, I want to talk today. I was thinking about something one of you guys asked about the tides. First off, I want to say thank y'all for coming out. But let me talk a little bit about the tides, because he says, well, when he looks at his apps and then he goes to the marsh and they don't match up. And I tried to explain online what I do, and hopefully what I try to get across. It's a little complicated, but not seriously complicated. Let's just take the 6 Mile area for example, because that can be applied to pretty much anywhere. And the nearest station we have for 6 Mile is about, I think, 4 or 5 miles away. I'm not quite sure. Fella, you gonna? Yeah, he's hooked. So what the station is doing 4 or 5 miles away is not what's happening where I'm fishing. And you would say, well, it's only 4 or 5 miles. It should be pretty close. Well, not really, because water don't move all that fast. Man, that's just a good keeper right there, guys. 22 inches. He's popping in the box. We have a little higher tide than I like to fish, but I just wanted to get out, wanted to do something. It's going to start to rain or something there, hopefully. All right, guys, let's see one right up here. I'll try to get, oh, there's a big one right offshore. Oh, he turned to the right. Don't want to reel in too fast. Sometimes that reeling in too fast really spooks them. All right, fella, did you get it in your mouth good? All right. I'll try to put the old stake down. All right, guys. I was talking about the tides, and I have realized that my improv is maybe a little bit short. So what I may do in this video, and I'm not sure, and this might mess everything up if I say it and I don't do it, but I may just stop in between here while I'm fighting this guy and go to a post and make a lot of my points, and then we'll pop back in when I get this guy close to the boat, at least with the audio now. That's a good fish. He may be over 28, and I'm not gonna horse him in. So all right, I decided I would just go ahead and do this here. Let's pop this up on the screen. I'll show you right here from the website what I look for, and right here is, I'll put this in the description below so y'all can click on it. You can see up here it says stations. You can click on this and it'll give you a list of stations all around the United States. I mean, the Great Lakes even come up all the way to Alaska. But anyway, you'll find the marshes that you find the station closest to the marsh you fish. And as you can see, this is the Port Lavaca tower, and I scroll down here and this is what you look at. Now you have a blue line, which is the prediction, and the red line, which is the actual. And what I've learned is from 6 Mile to Port Lavaca, the marshes is about anywhere from 6 to 7 miles, depending on how far up the marshes you go. I know I said a little less than that earlier, but I looked on Google Earth and I mapped it out. So that's what we're talking about. It takes me or it takes the water 3.5 hours to make it to the marshes in 6 Mile. So I'm 3.5 hours behind what it says here. So I look at this and I say, okay, well, this is what it's doing in Port Lavaca. I know 3.5 hours later, that's what it's going to be doing in the marshes at 6 Mile. Now this varies a little bit if you have a north wind blowing or something, or not something. I mean, it's either strong north wind or strong south wind makes a big difference. But I mean, you're not going to be out there in a paddle craft anyway in 20-mile-an-hour winds one way or the other. You shouldn't be. That's just not fun for nobody. But on a normal wind, you just can count 3.5 hours. Now, you can find this out, and this is how I found it out, is you go up into the marshes and you'll notice what the water's doing if you're in a small creek where it's filling in the marsh or pouring out of the marsh. And you watch it, and when you see the water slow down and you see it pretty much stall, well, you know it's, if it was going in, that you're about up to the high tide. What you do is then you say, okay, well, if you can pull up that station on your phone, you look right then, you say, well, when is high tide supposed to be at that station? And you'll say, oh, well, high tide was either, say 3 hours ago, or look at the prediction line here, and you say, well, it's gonna be high tide in so many hours. So then you know whether you're ahead or behind it. And it just takes a little time to I've been out in the marshes probably 30 times since I've learned this, and I watch it every time. I say, okay, well, how accurate is it? And as long as there's not a lot of wind blowing one way or the other, it's pretty much dead on. But I've learned even now how to predict it. Say if a north wind is blowing, it's going to be blowing against the water that's coming across towards 6 Mile. So I know it's going to be slower. So instead of 3.5 hours, I know it's going to be maybe 4.5 hours before it reaches there. And if it's blowing really hard, then you know it's not going to get there at all, because it's blowing against that wind. About the time it needs to turn around and start going the other way, well, it just made it only halfway. So I hope that helps out a little bit. It's just one of the things that I've learned that will seem to make a lot of difference. Now let's get right back to that fish that I was fighting, and he's a big one, man. I tell you didn't miss a lot. All I done was sitting there holding on to him up to the point y'all gonna come back in on. I mean, he probably fought harder than a redfish I had, most redfish I've caught in the last 2 or 3 years, even though I've caught bigger. He just was a fighter. I don't know if it's a cool water or what it was, but I thought he was hooked in the side, but I don't recall if I talk about that in the end of it right before I get him or not. I think maybe I do. So alright, let's just get right back to it. Guys, I'm going to break in again. I don't know if I got him foul hooked. I may have him hooked in a tail or something, but I have not had this much trouble getting a fish in. And I can't put any more pressure on him. I don't know if I physically can. It wouldn't surprise me if I don't have him hooked in the side, but I don't know. We'll know in a little while. Luckily it's really clean out here, and there's really nothing for him to get on, but I mean, I'm got a bind on him. He almost looks like he's swimming straight sideways from my, I mean, now he's starting to tire out, I think. Maybe. I hope he's hooked in the mouth. That means he's a monster if he's hooked in the side. Well, he's big either way, but alright. I don't know if I got everything talked about on the tide or not. I talked a while ago and I cut myself off because I realized that me doing 2 things at one time was hard to do. So it's better for me to have everything together in what you just heard. And if y'all have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below and I will try to explain it better. not that great at typing out answers. I'm better at talking them out. He's in the mouth. He's not foul hooked. It's just he's a monster. Well, I don't know. He might be under the mouth. No, he's on the corner of the mouth. Well, I don't know why. Maybe I'm weak today. I didn't eat no breakfast. I'm out here on an empty stomach. But I do that a lot. They say it's not a good idea. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, I've heard it said. But then again, years past, they used to say all kinds of things. They come up and say it's different now. So I got enough in reserve, so it's not going to bother me. All right, fella, you were heavy, 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 and just look at that. One reason he was pulling so hard is it was barely poking him. He was like getting him a lip ring put in. Might hurt a tiny bit, but all right. But he's a good one. He's 28 1/4. Fella, what were you doing up here in this little water? I mean, it's not that little today, but a couple of days ago, I know there was hardly no water up here. All right, so you get to go free. Thank you, guy, for the fight. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a recitation. I don't think you need much. All right, he's gonna lay under my board here, and oh, there he goes. He said, "No, I ain't staying around you. I don't even like you." Hey, you barely know me. Oh, that's beautiful. But all right, guys, we're going to move on to the next one. And if I didn't have time to cover everything in those times of silence, we will probably do that again, because it's one of the more important things that I have learned in this kayak fishing is knowing the tide. I'm pretty sure I'll say all that. So let's just move on. Move on to the next one. This fella might just be a low-end slot. So, well, we just caught that big one right there, and then I was trying to make up my mind what I wanted to do. Evidently, he probably swam in through that cut. Of course, I came in that cut a while ago and paddled up over there. So, that was pretty cool, but I was thinking if he'll turn the boat around, that I was going to drag over the land right here. There's a little pocket right here that goes around, and it goes to that pocket of water. That's what's so cool about a kayak or a paddle board. You're not locked in. If you need to pop over a little bit of land, you just pop over a little land. So, all right. Well, he'd be a very low end, but that would be fine if he makes it. He might be a little short, but come here, fella. Let's just see your length. We just want to see if you're going to make the grade. I have your buddy in there that is saying he needs a partner to hang out with. Oh yes, 21 inches. That is you'll make a perfect little playmate for him. Yeah, they're like in the little snowy biome. All right, we're still fishing with this here number 24 from H&H, 3-inch saltwater. It's not curly tail. I said that on the last one, but all right, it's just number 24. Go with number 24. Sorry about that shake. All right, but I like it a lot. 1/8 ounce jig head, roughly. Thing is, these jig heads, I pour them myself, and when I make them, they're about 1/4 ounce, roughly, or whatever. But then I take it on my little belt sander and I sand them down, and they are not weedless by nature right when they come out of the mold. But oh guys, y'all hear that? There's a red right in this. I don't see the wave action from it, but it's definitely, he busted across on the other side of that. That's good. That's where I wanted to go. I want to drag right across here. But anyway, back to this. I just sand it down to where it makes it kind of weedless. You know, they don't sell a lot of molds that are weedless. They always have that big old head on them that catch all the grass. But you know, this popped into my head. Hey, why not just grind it down? Now, you don't want to breathe that. I see the wave action over there. Oh, I think I might see him swimming in the water. We might do it over the bank thing here in a minute. But yeah, you don't want to breathe that lead too much. I had chewed on lead pellets all my life when I was a kid hunting. I've probably been not half as way I am now. They say that lead ain't real good for you to be chewing on. Who knew? Alright guys, yeah, I don't know where he's at. That water, I don't see hardly any water there. It wouldn't be enough to hide nothing, but that sounded so close. It might have been right on the other side of them trees there, but we'll go hunt him down. You know how we are. Now I'm standing up. I don't see no natural way to get in here. I think I'm going to pop over right here, because ultimately I think I want to go up there. The way the wind's blowing, I think I'll have a nice calm bank. So alright, I'll bring y'all back in a minute. Oh, I might have to put that in there, guys. I have just jerked it out of his mouth. Well, well, well. them's the breaks, man. You don't get every one. Let's move on. There's one right there. Let's keep you alive here. Where'd he go? It's kind of hard to get that bait in front of him, right? There he is. Come on, see it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, well, we missed one and we got one. Alright. Ho ho ho. I'm gonna crank down on him because I don't have time. We don't have time in this video for this little guy. He's probably a keeper, but I'm popping it in wherever I can, guys. I'm on the way back home, but I thought that was too cool not to add to the video, guys. I'm cranking down because I don't really care if he tears out, because we gotta get this video on down the road. I caught a couple more good fish, and I want you guys to be able to see them. So we're not gonna dilly-dally. We're gonna get on to it. Let me give you a quick view. He's 21 inches. All right, guys, let's move on to some more. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, there he is. There he is. Yeah, fellas. I'm gonna pop this fella in the video. I know you're gonna say, hey, it don't make sense, but yeah. Be sure and watch the next one. It was pretty cool too. But this actually was caught right before my outro. Maybe not right before. It was up there a little ways, but I really wanted my third one, so I'm not going to redo the outro because we already did that. And but I just was a little ways from getting out of this marsh, and I said, you know, there's no reason for me to go home without a limit. As I said in my, I think I said my outro anyway, y'all hear it. The second one jumped out. Jumped out of my hands. So, but he was barely a keeper, and this rascal here is a lot nicer. He even got 3 spots on this side. Yes. Cannot beat a deal like that. it's real cloudy now and it's hard to see a lot of times. So I heard one bust, like plumb give that gulp on top of the water. He might fall off. I can't really see where the hook is at, but if he does, he does. But if he don't, he don't. We'll put him in the box. Where are you hooked at? Oh, you hooked all right, I think. Alrighty, that's just a good keeper. I mean, a good keeper, fellas. Yeah, stretch your tail out. You get almost 24, maybe 24. Well, that is a good one. So anyway, we're not going to waste no time because, like I say, this is going to be popped into the video right ahead of the outro, I believe, and that was a good fish too. So let's get right to it. All right, yay, fellows! I just had a feeling that was a fish. I couldn't see him for the glare for just a second, and then I knew it was one. Oh yeah! All right. The ground's kind of hard. Can't hardly get the old stake down. But fellas, that's a. I think we're probably gonna use this guy for the wrap up. I just drug out of all these little potholes that we went in, and I just drug back over into this area, which I think I'm familiar with. That's so many places look the same, but I've been up here enough to where I don't have my GPS with me anymore, so I'm just going by my memory, which that could be a bad thing at times, because it's not that I don't remember, but do I remember rightly when you're looking at all this? Because all this looks a whole lot alike, but I'm 90% sure, maybe 99 even, that I know where I'm at. But for sure I know what direction I got to go to get back out of here. And this guy is not wanting to give up either. I didn't think he was that big, but I don't know, I might be weak or something, but I feel like I got a really lot of bind on him. Come on in, fella. I think I need to get me a little bit lower gear ratio. I always fish with the 7:1 on the gear ratio, and which is fine, but for my style of fishing, I normally don't throw out and reel in a whole lot. So I'd probably want to have a lower gear ratio. I just have to adjust it when I do throw, and I know because it changes how the speed of your lure. Of course, you guys know that more than me probably, but I don't think that'd be hard to adjust. You just watch it a few times coming in, and then you kind of get a rhythm of what speed you want to do it. And I have some reels, I think. Some of them cheap Chinese reels, one or two was the lower gears, and I didn't notice that big a difference when I was fishing, just even casting and reeling to blindly. I could still get them to bite. All right, guy. Well, let's just get you up on a boat. You're just a nice size keeper. Nice one. Oh, by the way, let me that last one, he's 24 and a half, almost 25. We turn the tail. Yeah, that little 21 inch or whatever, I tried to put him in a box and he said nope, he ain't going. He popped right out of my hand and he's gone. So this is not number 3 in a box, but that's fine. It's number 2 in the box, I think. I don't know if I can get a good view of all this. Probably not. Yeah, this is number 2. But there's a shorty looking rascal. Now are you going to stay in there with him? I mean, I don't know why you would not want to stay with your buddy. Maybe that other one wasn't a good friend. Maybe they had words or something. But all right, now he's safely tucked in there with my fine ugly Velcro lid, and he ain't getting away. I heard that other one bouncing against the lid, and I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna go get my lid. Nope. And I thought, nah, I ain't gotta get my lid. That Velcro doing some work. But anyway, at that, I just want to thank you guys again for coming out. Hope y'all got a little something out of what I shared, and if you enjoyed it or got anything out of it, if you do me a favor, hit that like button.